Good evening, everybody. Welcome. I'll give you a couple of seconds to get your audio connected. If you're able to, pop your camera on. We love seeing your faces. Thanks for joining us tonight. My name's Lee. I'm team leader based here in Wellington. I'm joined from some of our consultants around the Taranaki and Wellington region. It is our pleasure to have you joining us for really fun, about an hour or so, coming up with some inspiration and ideas around Indian cooking. Our intention is to showcase lots of different modes and functions of the TM6 Thermomix, give you some really great ideas, and hopefully leave tonight being inspired to try something new and just learn something around the Thermomix. From the registrations, I can see we've got lots of owners here tonight, which is fabulous. It's great to see that you're wanting to learn more and get the most from your machine as well. So it's great to have you here. Pop in the chat box. Where are you joining us from tonight? Where in the country are you? Just going to move a few things on my screen. I've got a chat box and all the recipes up. I'll be sharing them in the chat box for you this evening. And I'll also be sending out an email after tonight, later this week, with all the links and the recipes and the collections and some top tips. So if you can't remember everything tonight, you'll get that as well as the recording. If you're watching on the recording, great that you're able to find time to join us as well. Alrighty. If you wouldn't mind muting yourself so that everyone is able to hear you, the presenters, that would be wonderful. I'm just going to find that one. Cynthia, can you help me? Got somebody not on mute. Lovely, thank you. And we are going to head over to Cynthia's kitchen first up. I'm sure you can introduce what she's going to be cooking tonight. Just got to find Cynthia. Where are you, Cynthia?
I'm right here.
Awesome.
G'day. So I'm joining you from Wellington, and I am going to be making a butter chicken, which is another name it's called Merg Makani. So come on over to my kitchen and have a look at what we're doing. So I've got the recipe from Coffee Dough and it's in my meal planner. And I'm just going to hit start cooking. And I've done a few of these steps already just because it needed to marinate for a while. So I've already placed a bowl on my lid and weighed out my chicken. Chucked some freshly squeezed lemon juice on top, tossed it to combine and then rubbed some salt into it. And then added some natural yogurt and tandoori paste. The tandoori paste is one found in Coffee Dough as well, and that lasts for quite some time in the fridge, or you can freeze it in batch lots for various recipes as well. So nice and easy. You don't need to buy the bought stuff. You can just make your own. And makes enough for quite a few recipes. I'm not sure off the top of my head how many, but that was I think I did a double batch, and I've been using that for a while now, so lasts quite some time. So I just mixed that marinade all over the chicken, and it's been soaking, and it is now on a tray ready to go into the oven, and my lovely husband here is just going to help me out. And that's going to grill on a really hot heat right at the top of the oven, and for about 8 minutes. And what we're aiming for is a really nice char on the chicken, and hubby's going to keep an eye on the time for me. I can't be doing 3 things at once. So he's going to do that, and we needed to grease the tray or oil it. I've just used non-stick foil and cooking spray, and we are just going to let that cool once it comes out of the oven, just for a little bit. And I am going to now show you the butter chicken sauce part of the recipe, and I've got my spices all measured out here because we're on a bit of a time frame. So in here I've got 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds, a black cardamom pod, a whole cinnamon quill, and a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds. So they're all going in there. And I'll show you in a minute what they all look like. So we're just going to pop the lid on and pop the simmering basket on top. And that's going to cook for 3 minutes at 120 degrees, speed 1. So that's just going to cook the spices off so that they get all nice and roasted. So if you're not sure what black cardamom pods look like, they come, you can get them from an Indian shop. They come like that. I get mine from a place in Newlands. And the fenugreek is looks like that. And coriander and cumin seeds, most of you will be familiar with what they look like. And you can get most of those from the supermarket as well. So that's going to do a 3-minute cook, and while it's doing that, we're going to get the rice cooker mode up and do, whoops, just knock you around. I've just realised that I've just used my simmering basket because I head out for my rice. Rearrange my kitchen. Oh, stay down there. So just got my other simmering basket. And we're going to weigh out our rice. So I've got basmati rice here, and we're going to be using the rice cooker mode. I've got it in my recipes because I just needed to be able to find it. But also you can actually find it on your, I'll see if I can zoom in, on your machine by just swiping across and then going through and finding the mode that you're after. And it's just down here called rice cooker. And if you hit the I, it tells you the information you need for cooking your rice. So once you are familiar with it, just hit the X, and you don't need to have that show again. So I'm just going to place my rice on here. So about 300 grams I'm going to use. And we're going to just rinse the rice and place it in with 300 to 600 grams of water. So I put 300 grams of rice in, so I'll put 600 grams of water in there. And I forgot to wash my rice before I started, so I'll just get that rinsed a bit.
Cynthia, while you're washing your rice, I just asked in the chat box, because we do have a lot of owners on with us this evening, who hasn't used their rice cooker mode yet? And as a consultant, this is something that I discover quite often with owners. It is the most fabulous mode for cooking your rice. There are recipes like boiled rice, which is fabulous. If you're wanting to cook a lesser amount of rice, then the boiled rice recipe is great. If you're wanting to do a higher volume, then the rice cooker mode actually uses the absorption method, and you can do up to 500 grams of raw rice. So if you're entertaining or batch cooking, or you've got a bigger family, then this should be the go-to for you. It's a really great way to bulk it out a bit as well. So just wanted to share that. Lots of people who haven't used it yet, give it a go. You'll see how easy it is after watching Cynthia tonight.
Yeah, and I failed to watch the scales when I was doing my measuring out. So we're just going to add 5 to 10 grams of oil and a little bit of salt. And then place the simmering basket inside. All right.
Rice cooker mode, you want to put it straight in the bowl, Cynthia?
Straight in the bowl, yeah.
There we go.
Here we are. Goes to show how often I've used the rice cooker mode. I'm actually winging it tonight. I haven't cooked any of these. I've cooked rice lots, but not using the rice cooker mode, I have to admit, Lee. So it's pushed me into doing something that I haven't actually done. But I haven't actually made the butter chicken before either. So I like to fly by the seat of my pants. So
yeah, fantastic. Cool learning, hey. It's fabulous. So it uses the absorption method. So the best thing to do, and I will bring up cookie dough on this screen for everyone shortly tonight as well, and show you how you can find that rice cooker mode. There's a collection that you can add into your saved collections, which will be super helpful, because as well as doing rice, you can do lots of grains using the rice cooker mode. So all your bulgur wheats and things like that as well. Brown rices. Yeah, it's really quite versatile. Love it. Awesome. Thanks, Cynthia.
That's all right. So I've got my spices all roasted in here. And we're just going to insert the measuring cup and then blitz for a minute at speed 10.
We've just had Jess put.
I can't hear what you're saying. So.
That's okay. I'm just saying that while you're doing that, Jess Ongley has very kindly put some tips in the chat around if you can't find the cardamom pods, that you can use the cardamom seeds, and then she's put some little variations on there for black and pods, black and red pods. Indian spice shops are your go-to to find them usually. Not many supermarkets will stock them. Should we pop over to the next kitchen while you're doing that part there?
3 seconds.
Oh, 3 seconds to go.
Yeah. Cool. So now we're just going to pop the spices into a bowl. Shouldn't actually bash your machine like that. I keep forgetting. So we're just going to pop the spices now into a bowl and set them aside. And I'm just getting them out of the lid.
And having all those spices dry roasted and milled like that at the beginning of the
it smells amazing.
Great depth of flavor.
Yeah,
wonderful. I bet it smells great.
Smells amazing.
And this is something that you could do ahead of time as well, and then just pop it into a jar, right? And just have that ready to go anytime you want to make your butter chicken. You don't need to always.
Absolutely.
You can pre-make all your spice mixes.
They make quite good gifts, I reckon, eh? If you freshly roast spices and put them together for friends and things. So without washing the bowl, we're going to add 45 grams of ghee. So that's basically clarified butter. 180 grams of chopped onion. And we're going to pop the splash guard on instead of the mixing cup, and that just is because of the high heat mode that we're using. So that's going to cook for 10 minutes now on the high heat mode. I think that's me.
That is you. Awesome job. Thanks, Cynthia. We're going to whiz on over to Rosemary's kitchen. I'm just going to find her and spotlight her. Thanks, Cynthia. Top job. We'll come back to you shortly. You just unmute, Rosemary.
Is that okay now?
Yeah, I think you might have 2 on audio.
Okay.
How are we doing?
Get it off my phone.
You're just on mute now. Just need to unmute your camera. Nope, you flicked this around. Doing a good job there, Rosemary. Just down the bottom, little arrow pointing up. Next to your mute button. Yep, just unclick the mute. Should be at the bottom of your screen, I think. Is it your phone? It's still on mute, Rosemary.
Okay. So I just get rid of this.
Have you changed cameras?
Yes.
Okay, hang on a
Yes, I
second.
have.
Bring up the other one. There we go.
Okay.
Oh, no, hang on. We're looking at your roof. There we go.
That's better.
Top job.
What I have done is the rice, coconut cream rice, which is lovely and soft and fluffy, and storing it in the lovely server. The garam masala, I understand, has different spices. You'll note when you go into a shop that garam masala often looks different colours because they've got different spices in. Like the one that Cynthia did, it has black pods. Do not get the green ones. The green ones are used in Indian cooking for desserts, not for these. So this one actually has bay leaves as well, and cinnamon, cardamom, coriander, which I've left out, whole cloves, cumin seeds, black pepper, and 2 dried bay leaves. So like what Cynthia did, they go in the bowl. We go next, and that does the roasting for the 3 minutes on 90. So you can make your own mixtures of different spices for garam masala. And Diane actually she'll tell you when she comes on what the definition of garam masala means. I thought it was quite neat. And as Lee said, you could just store it in a little glass container and have it there, and quite often it is sprinkled into a dish just before you serve it. Okay. So this is dry roasting at the moment. Makes some funny noises when the cinnamon pill gets stuck as it's going round in the blade. There's 2 of them.
Well, that's toasting off, Rosemary. We might whiz over to the next kitchen and come back to you in a couple of minutes, because it's just toasting off, isn't it? All those beautiful spices for you.
Yeah, it is.
And Rosemary is making the coconut fish curry this evening. So I've just popped the link to that in the chat for you as well. So if you're wondering what she's making, she started off with the rice, and then she's going to get into the recipe next. So I'm just going to have a little check here. We're going to go over to Diane's kitchen. Just going to find Diane. Where are you, Diane? Oh, up there in Taranaki.
Yes, I sure am. Hi, everyone. Tonight I'm going to be making the pilau rice, and quite a really simple recipe. I sort of wondered it was really too simple, but it's really delicious and just a really nice rice to have with curries, but also on its own. I talked to an Indian lady today who said it's really nice just they have it just with some butter stirred through it. So here we go. So I'm just going to start the first part over, and this is another rice. So on the simmering basket, I weighed my rice earlier, and I've rinsed it in water until the water runs clear, which is really important to get the rice clean. And I've got a litre of water in my bowl here. So I'm using the simmering basket method for cooking rice. So the rice is just going to sit in there. I have got a teaspoon of salt in there as well, which is optional. And I've just popped the basket in, and I'm going to pop my lid on. And that's going to cook it for 14 minutes on speed 4, so that's pretty quick and easy, and then we'll do the rest of it afterwards. But I've just got the book here as well that a lot of the recipes today we're making are from, this beautiful collection called Flavours of India, and this collection is available on Cookie Dough. And also one of the things when Rosemary mentioned before, in the front's an amazing glossary, and there's heaps of tips. So if you're not sure about the different spices and things, this one's really good. And here where it says about the garam masala, the garam means hot, and it refers to the intensity of the spices, and masala means a combination of different spices. So my knowledge bank there was increased by reading a bit more of this today. So we're going to be doing several different recipes from here today. So I'm just going to start cooking, and you'll come back a bit later when I do the next step.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Diane. Cynthia, how are you with your timing? What are you up to?
My onions are just toasting off, and got about 2.5 minutes to go, and the rice is about 13 minutes into a 24-minute cook. I do have a pre-made naan. I don't know whether you want me to...
No, not yet. We'll come back to that shortly. I'll head over to Rosemary. You're all good.
Sure.
Awesome. Thank y'all. All right, Rosemary, over to you. Have those spices finished toasting, milling? I might be milling. I think it's a bit hard to see at night with the light. Is it milling? You're just on mute.
Wow. The smell from this is just, it's amazing. And it will be different to the one that Cynthia's just made. Okay, I can get on with the next part, and don't need that. I've done the rice part and the water, and we've done that. Okay. Clean and dry mixing bowl. Not for me. I'm just picking up my second bowl.
Woohoo!
For me.
Who's got a second bowl? How fabulous is it when you can do that mid-recipe?
It's a real time saver. People say, look, I can manage with one bowl, but if they've ever used 2 bowls and then have to go back to 1 bowl, I think they find out that it's not quite so good. Then we've got turmeric, and we've got garlic, ginger, and left half of that behind. So that's that. I've left chilies out, got the ginger in, and we're going to be putting this on, and it's just going for 3 seconds. Next.
I love it. Philippa's just said in the chat box, 3 bowls are even better. Yes, they are.
Yeah, I guess there would be.
And even then, sometimes you find yourself there all better.
Mince meat of that one.
Yeah, amazing.
It is. Okay, and place a simmering basket this time. So I'm actually going to push some of that back down a little bit, I think. That's good that they ask us to use the simmering basket instead of the cap because it lets the steam out when it's at a higher temperature, because it'll be going over 90. So that's when they ask us to use the simmering basket instead of the cap. It's a safety measure for us, keep us safe. Got some beautiful tomatoes here, the Italian Roma ones. They look too good to be munched up, actually. They're really nice and solid. So that's coming.
Fantastic. You can also use thin tomatoes as well if they weren't in season or, you know, on the higher price.
Yeah, I figured that. You just use the Italian, they've asked you to use the Italian ones because I think there's less acid in them. And a kaffir lime leaves. I'm lucky, I've got a niece that's got some kaffir lime trees, and so she's given me some leaves, and I actually had them in the freezer, just in the freezer. You can just pull them out, cut the middle stem out, and then you can just finely slice the kaffir lime leaves. Little things like that, I think, actually complete the whole recipe. I think quite often we might leave something out because we don't have it. But I think if you can get your hands on it with the kaffir lime leaves, put them in the freezer so that you've got them there. Extra things to have.
Yeah, I think one of the best tips I can offer with Indian cooking, it's really around getting all those flavor bases into your dishes, and it's done so easily through the use of spices and fresh herbs. So that's how you're going to boost that, you know, that beautiful flavor. And obviously with the high heat function of the TM6, those flavors are going to be even more enhanced because we can have that high heat, you know, up to 160 degrees comparatively with the TM5. Does anyone remember or know the top heat for a TM5? I think we've got a couple of TM5 owners on tonight. If you've ever sauteed onions between a 5 and a 6, you'll see the difference in the color and texture.
Now we're adding a teaspoon of salt. And the tomatoes. I think this is going to make quite a large meal. This is going to go for 20 minutes now.
Fantastic. I love a dinner that you can just get everything in and leave it to do its thing. It's, yeah, one of the best.
Do something else.
Yeah, I love it. What would you do with 20 minutes while dinner's cooking, Rosemary?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Probably clean up, or looking at my floor, I could probably pick up my Cobalt vacuum cleaner and zip it around because it's such a zippy little machine. I love it.
How good.
So easy.
Yeah, you find that you back lots of time and when the machine's doing the work for you, hey, not having to stand and stir.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. We'll come back to your kitchen shortly. Thank you.
Okay.
I think we're going to, I'm just going to check. Cynthia, where are you at with timings?
Everything's going off. I'm just adding the water into the butter chicken. Having put the tomatoes and things in, hubby's just rescuing the chicken out of the grill. Adding some cashew nuts and popping the lid back on to cook for a bit longer. So another 7 minutes at 100 degrees and spoon speed. So that's where we're at.
Awesome. Another pop it all in and leave it to do its thing.
Yeah, about 5.5 minutes left on the rice, and yeah, the pre-made naan is looking great, and I'm good to go whenever you need me to for the other naan.
Fantastic. We're going to head over to Joan's kitchen next. Thanks so much. You just unmute, Joan. Just at the bottom of your screen, there should be a little arrow that points up. No, can't hear you yet. You're on mute. There's a little arrow that points upwards for your audio. Little mute button.
There you go. There was a little square box that told me to unmute it, and I didn't see that. So, yeah,
Well,
good evening. I'm from Lower Hutt, so just a wee bit north of Wellington. Now, I'm going to be doing a tandoori paste and then making it into skewers. Now, a tandoori has two meanings. There is an oven called a tandoor oven, and the other meaning of it is that it is a popular style of yogurt marinade. So we're going to get and the thing now with black and green cardamoms, a black cardamom has a smoky flavour. I've got it written here somewhere. Smoky flavour. Vaguely camphor-like flavour. It has a coolness that is sometimes likened to mint. Green cardamom is a very strong and intense flavour. So I'll just sort of tell you the difference. Now we'll get going. Now I'm just going to add coriander seeds, cumin seeds, cardamom pod black, and 10 whole cloves. And we're going to go to cashmere powder, turmeric, and ground cinnamon, tablespoon of salt as well went in there, 60 grams of brown sugar, 120 grams of tomato paste, and 20 grams of garlic paste. Now you don't have to use garlic paste, you can just use garlic. Garlic paste is very easily made in the Thermomix. It's just garlic, salt, and some olive oil. 80 grams of ginger paste, again that is just the same, it's just fresh ginger, salt, and a bit of olive oil. Again, you don't have to use the paste. You can actually just do it with fresh. I've made my own pastes. So. $200 grams of olive oil. Insert the measuring cup. And we're going to do 25 seconds on speed 9. Sorry about that. My dog doesn't like the Thermomix when it makes a noise, so she always barks. Now we're just going to transfer that to a sterilised jar, and the tandoori paste will last in the fridge for about 3 to 4 weeks. or you can put it into little ice cubes and then put them into freezer bags. So I'm just going to put it into a jar and use it. So
Can you see the top tip that Joan's doing there, using the lid of her Thermomix? So if you are putting sauces into a jar to catch any of your drips, I absolutely love that. Good little tip there. If you have...
yeah.
And how speedy, Joan? Like literally 30
Oh,
seconds, you've got tandoori paste.
Amazing. And you can use your tandoori paste for, you know, I'm going to do chicken, but you could do a roast chicken with it, and you would just sort of rub the tandoori paste on it, a bit of oil, some salt, and then just sit it in the fridge to marinate for a while, and then stick it into a hot oven. You can do that with chicken thighs as well. Other things you can use it for, you can do grilled tandoori prawns. So you'd stick a bit of the paste on the prawns and put some yogurt and that on it, and then grill them. You can do tandoori cauliflower wedges. I've never done that, but I just saw that recipe and I thought, oh, that sounds beautiful. So there's roasted tofu and halloumi with tandoori. There's potato wedges, and you can put them into the air fryer. You can add it to onion or vegetable bhaji, and you can add it to a mayonnaise to spread on wraps or flatbreads before adding a protein salad and chutney. So that's just some things that you can do with tandoori paste. So that's that.
Love it. I've never thought of putting it in mayonnaise before. That's a new one for me. Has anyone done tandoori mayo? Or have you got any other ideas of things that you've used your tandoori paste for? Pop it in the chat box and share with each other.
Make masala rolls too. Put it in bread rolls, and you make lovely masala rolls with it.
Ooh. So versatile. And a huge cost saver, isn't it, to make it yourself? I was looking online, and just for my own knowledge, you know, before I had Thermomix, you can pay anywhere from sort of $8 to about $13 for a jar of tandoori paste. And if you read the back of the jar, there are a lot of additives, preservatives, often colors, you know, all sorts in there. So the great thing is knowing what's in your food, fraction of the cost as well. You could double it or halve it.
So I'm now going to do the skewers. So I've had these soaking most of the day in cold water. And I did actually make a marinade earlier so that it had some flavour. But I'm going to do another, but then I can freeze all these. So 600 grams of chicken. That's already weighed out. I'm just going to, I've got half a lemon. Salt, half a teaspoon of salt. Some black pepper. 200 grams of natural yogurt. All right.
What was that you just popped in, Joan? Is it natural yogurt?
It's natural yogurt. I've just used the Protein Plus.
Awesome. And of course, you can make your own natural yogurt. There's a couple of methods. So there's the aroma method or the bowl method, if you have a look on your cookie dough.
So I'm just going to stick this all in a bowl and add 120 grams of the tandoori paste. Still got some in here, so I'll just spread this out. 120 tier-mark scales. Smells beautiful. So I'm just going to coat all this. And then I'm just going to put some, I'm going to leave this in the fridge and I'll have this tomorrow. I made some earlier today that's been sitting there marinating. So I'll just show you that and put it on a skewer.
I've just popped those 2 recipes for natural yogurt in the chat box as well. So Verona and
Yeah, and then I'm just going to just put them on a skewer.
awesome. And then those get grilled, don't they, Joan? Talk us through.
Into the oven. I've got a whole lot of ovens that I've done. Oops. Just got these, and then I'm just going to stick them under the grill in the oven. It's about 240 degrees for about 8 minutes, turning them every sort of 2 or 3 minutes.
Brilliant. We'll leave you to it. We'll come back shortly. Awesome job. Thank you. But they're going to be delicious. And are you using breast or thighs? Does it matter? Any preference? What do you go for?
I think I'm using thighs. I always find breast dries out too much. So I prefer a thigh. They do say thighs.
Yep. A lot of Indian cooking, they will use the thigh. And alrighty, Cynthia, where are you at? I'll just find you and bring you back up.
I'm right here. So I've got my chicken just popped into my Thermomix, ready to, and it's cooking away with the garam masala just added. And the next step will be popping the cream and the last bit of butter in. And my rice is cooked, so I've just got that out and it's in my thermal server here. And beautiful and light and fluffy. So I'll set that aside. And I've just got my pan on to cook the naan. So if you want to
naan, we're just it was to some other kitchens firstly. We're not up to naan just yet.
Okay.
Have you got anything else in the curry to do? Or we are all up to speed?
Just adding the butter and cream at the end.
Oh, fabulous. All right, we'll come back to you shortly. We're going to whiz on over to Rosemary's kitchen, see how she's getting on over there with hers. How long have you got to go on your curry there?
I have got 3 minutes.
Oh, bro. Okay, we'll whiz back to Diane then.
Okay.
Thanks so much, team.
Hi, so my rice is finished cooking, and for those who aren't aware of the use of the spatula, having the little hook on the end of the spatula, and that's for getting your simmering basket out of the Thermomix. So it just hooks in under into the basket, sorry, excuse my back, and lifts up. So that's a safe way without getting burned. So my rice is cooked beautifully in there. So that's going to go into my thermoserver. I'm going to pop it in here. The thermoserver is a host door, and also at the moment it's available. You can get one with a gift with purchase. So anyone who hasn't got one can get one as a gift with purchase. And then I'm just going to quickly scoot over, and it says rinse and dry my mixing bowl. So then again, I'm a bit lucky that I can use my second bowl. And I'm just going to quickly carry on. So it's asking for some brown onion. So I'm just going to pop some onion in there and just chop that up. So that's just going to get chopped up for 3 seconds. It's that waiting, it's that few seconds to wait for it to open. Not good for impatient people. So that quickly chopped my onion. So all I'm going to do now is just take it out and pop it back in the bowl that I had it in. And next I'm going to be adding some ghee. So ghee you can purchase from the supermarket, but you can also make it in your Thermomix. So ghee is really just a clarified butter, like Cynthia mentioned earlier on. You can make your own. It will last sort of a month or two in the pantry, but up to 3 months if you pop it in the fridge. It's very easy to make. So I've got some here, pre-made. So it's very yellowy colour. It's just clarified butter, so it's been cooked up, simmered, and then strained, and then the milk solids and the water is taken out of it. I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm just going to pop the lid on. It's asking for my simmering basket on the top, and that's just going to melt down for a minute on at 120 degrees. And I was going to show you in the cookbook, it shows the ghee. So the ghee can be liquid, and it'll eventually go into a solid, but that's how it is. So making ghee is just a matter of 500 grams of butter, and it's cooked up basically, as I mentioned before. And to buy a container of ghee, it is cheaper to make your own, especially when you get butter at a good price. I think I wrote down in Pack and Save, it's about $6.79 for 500 grams of unsalted butter, and that will give you about 350 grams of ghee. So because often you can only buy it in big containers as well, and it costs about $15 or $16 or up to $18. So it's much cheaper if you can make your own and just use smaller amounts as well, so it's not going to go off for you. And the good beauty of ghee is that it's got a really high smoke point, so it won't burn. And it's great for, I read that you could use it for roast. I haven't thought to use mine for roast, but said it's really good to use it for roast and to substitute it for coconut oil or veggie oil in your baking.
I use it for my cooked mayo recipe as well sometimes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought to do that. So
if cream's on special, you can take it even one step further. You can get your cream and make your butter, and then use your butter to make your ghee. So you've got all these byproducts which are not being wasted. And often,
exactly, especially when you get a good price. I got my butter for $1.99 the other day for 500 gram mil bottles. So I made lots of butter. So in here now, I'm just putting a cinnamon quill, some cardamom pods. So I've got the green cardamom pods for this recipe, and I just crushed them down a bit because that's what it asked to do. And some cumin seeds and mustard seeds. It asked for black, but I'd already put my yellow ones in before I got the black container out. So I've used yellow mustard seeds and some salt and some fresh curry leaves. I've just got some fresh curry leaves. So that's just going in the bowl there. And it's just asking us to cook that. So it's going to do a 40-second cook without the measuring cup. And then we're going to add the onion and then cook it for 4 minutes. So I don't know if you want to wait for me, Lee, but that's all I'm doing now.
Awesome. Thanks, Diane. We're going to whiz on over to Anne-Marie's kitchen. She's been waiting patiently back there. How are you doing, Anne-Marie? Just going to bring you up on the spotlight.
Hi, everyone. I'm from Waitarere, just north of Levin. And tonight I'm making chai masala, which is basically a spice-infused tea. I did have a little try of it last night because I'm not really a tea drinker, and I tried it out on my daughters and they said ooh, but I actually really liked it because it was really fragrant and just the right temperature to drink, sort of like a couple of minutes after pouring it. So we're going to get started, and it is really super easy. 2 cinnamon sticks, 5 cloves, and 5 cardamom pods. So those are the spices going in now. And it's just going to chop them up a little bit. It's not going to mill as such. It's just going to break it into smaller pieces so that when it infuses, so that was speed 6. If you were to want to mill spices, you can do that at speed 9 or 10. But for this recipe, we're just chopping it a little bit. We're going to add 500 grams of water. Oh, make sure I tear it. Now you can halve this recipe. I halved it last night, and you can actually also use alternative milks as well. So last night I tried it with coconut milk and it was absolutely fine, delicious. Tonight I'm just going to use regular milk. Right, just about right. Right, and now for the tea. So you use tea leaves rather than bags, obviously. And it says 2 tablespoons. And I got the Ceylon tea leaves. And 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. You can use less, or you could use honey. Just depends on how sweet you like your tea, or maybe you don't want it sweet at all. I'm just going to add 2. And it does say to add a 2 centimetre cube of old ginger, fresh and sliced, but I don't have any of that, so I'm going to skip that. And then we simply place the lid on with the simmering basket. And that is going to heat it to 98 degrees for 10 minutes. What I love about the Thermomix is with your teas and your coffees that you make, it doesn't over brew the coffee or tea, and so the flavour is just perfect. There's nothing worse than overdoing it, and it's going to do it perfectly for us. So speed 2 for 10 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, Anne-Marie. What a delicious treat as our weather starts to get a little bit cooler in the evenings. It's really delicious. And it's also a really great recipe as a palate cleanser between dishes. So if you're having something on the spicier side, perfect for that. I have made this in summertime and actually frozen it in ice blocks for my kids as well. It was really refreshing and quite delicious. I love the idea in the hotter months. So yeah, all right. Well, that's cooking away. If you could just pop yourself on mute there, Anne-Marie. I'm going to bring myself up on the big screen. Just replace the spotlight there, and I'm going to share my screen and just do a little bit of a recce around cookie dough. Some helpful tips for you all to just help you get underway with Indian cooking. So I'll just bring up my share screen. Bear with me while I click the right boxes and make sure that you can all see. Should pop up on the screen there. Anne-Marie, can you give me a thumbs up? Can you see cookie dough on the screen? All good? Awesome, thank you. Alrighty, cookie dough. So a couple of top tips for you this evening. If you're wanting to find some really great recipes, my top tip is to come over into your search function. So your little magnifying glass, you can do this on the desktop, you can do this on your app, and you can also search directly on the screen of your TM6 as well. You want to go over here and do your little drop down menu and go into collections and type Indian. Who would have thought? Super easy, right? A lot of different collections are going to come up from around the globe. So whenever you're looking for collections specifically, it's not filtered by languages. So you're going to get all your collections showing. And you'll see that there is quite a great selection of collections. this one here is the go-to, and this is the one that Diane had the hard copy of the cookbook of. So that is available in the Mix shop and often on sale. So jump in the Mix shop if you haven't already and have a look for it if you like the tactileness of a good cookbook. Otherwise, they are all in here as well for you. So this one here, Flavors of India, and it takes things right back to the basics. Like we've talked about, you know, Joan mentioned those garlic and ginger paste. Diane shared with us ghee, your tandoori paste, your tikka masala paste. You can even do your paneer if you love a good paneer curry. So, you know, you can do things really basic. And then just having a little scroll through. If you fancy an Indian night in, just have a little scroll through there. And you'll see that there's a great variety of things. There's, you know, drinks, there's breads. Cynthia's going to be showing us some wonderful naan bread shortly. Your curries, your condiments, your chutneys. There's lots there that you can be choosing from. So have a little look in that one. And then if you haven't already, then just click on the saved icon and that will come over into your recipe collection here. So when you come into my recipes, if it's on the app on your phone, it's at the bottom of the screen. And then you just want to click into saved and then it'll show you your recipe there. So you don't have to kind of think about all the things that you could be doing and individually writing them in. If you want a vindaloo or you're wanting a chutney, things like that, you can just have a little look through that whole collection there. And then, of course, what you can do is you can create your own little inspiration of recipes. And, you know, I've just put the recipes from tonight into a little collection. So I've just got here Indian virtual cooking class recipes. I'll share this link with you all in the chat box as well. And you can also just create your own, you know, little collection. So you might want to pop a little Indian collection together. I've got one here, some of my favorites. So you can see here. Lots of recipes that you can be popping in and saving throughout your search as well. If you have made something like your tandoori paste, you can also top that in and recipes will come up using that ingredient, you know, that tandoori paste. There's lots of things there that you can then go on and use it. So you could pipe in ghee, you could, you know, write in all your different spices. If you buy a spice and you've used some of it to create a spice paste and you've got something left, let's just say cardamom or cardamom pod even, you could pop that in and see what recipes come up to use up the rest of your cardamom pod so that they don't sit in the pantry or, you know, in the cupboard and get forgotten about. Lots of different inspiration and ideas there as well. So Cookie Doo is a really great way to get new ideas and be inspired. And to learn more about Cookie Doo, we do have a class coming up in May, which does a bit of a deep dive into creating your own recipes. So if you want to be a little bit creative with what you're cooking, or you want to edit existing Cookie Doo recipes, we kind of show you how you can do that as well. So I'll pop in the registration link ready for the next class coming up in May. So yeah, jump on, and another layer of learning. And of course, reach out to your consultant because they love sharing tips and tricks and getting together with you either online or in person. You know, we want you to get the most from your machine as well. So yeah, do reach out to your consultant. If you haven't got one yet, then you know, let us know and we can pop you in touch with someone local to you as well. So yeah, we're here to help you. It's awesome that you've been able to jump on and join us tonight. I've just seen a few things come up in the chat box, so love it. I love that people are sharing tips and ideas as well. And what have we got there? Favorite chai recipe. Oh, I love it. Thanks, Narelle. That's awesome. We learn from you guys just as much as well. So yeah, thank you. Alrighty, we're going to whiz on back over to Cynthia's kitchen. She's had that naan bread proving away, all ready to go. I've just got to find the camera. Where are you, Cynthia? Replace the spotlight.
Yeah, here I am.
No.
Do you want me to go through making the naan as well, Lee, or?
No, I think we'll just carry on with the dry fry. We're getting into 9 o'clock.
Alrighty, yep.
Throw it. Right.
I've just got some ingredients here ready to go. So I'll just tuck them away. And
yeah, tell us what you did.
so
Has anyone not used the kneading function yet?
I used the garlic and coriander naan recipe in that Cookie Doo, and I don't tend to do the cooking of the coriander or the garlic and nigella seeds except on special occasions, just because it uses quite a bit of ghee and things, and we're trying to keep our fat content down. So I just fast forward through those. So you can click on the 3 dots at the top and then have a look at the recipe detail and pop into the part where you start making the naan, or in my case I pop into the bit where we chop the garlic for 3 seconds, and then I carry on, leave the garlic in the bowl and do the milk and yeast, and then make the naan with that. So it uses baker's flour, some yogurt, some milk and yeast, of course, and salt. And nigella seeds are, they look like this. So I'll just grab a couple out so you can see what they look like on they're a little black seed, and they've got quite a sort of a bitter sort of smell to them. But they're quite tasty, and they go really nicely with the garlic and things, and go really nicely on the naan. So I've just got a pre-made batch of dough here that I've got that's been proving, and I have, I'll just put my pan back on the heat. It was smoking away, so I thought I'd better move it. I've just got my dough here. The little green bowl scrapers are really good for using for your dough, and great for moving it off the silicone mat and things. So I just gave my last one away, and I thought I had another one in the cupboard, but I didn't. So there you go. So really important with your Thermomix mat that you don't use a sharp knife on it. And what you want to do is just roll this out so that you can do a nice divvy up into about 8 pieces or so. And what I do, there's only 2 of us, so I make a batch of dough and just halve it and halve it again, and then halve it again. And you don't want to use a rolling pin with naan. You want to stretch it out. So stretching it a bit like sort of pizza dough and things. So just stretching it out gently. And you want a few holes. You want it looking a little bit rustic. You can see there. And we are just going to take this along. What I'd normally do is I've got greaseproof paper, and I chuck them down on the paper and put another one on top, and carry on making them, and then I pre-flow them in the freezer. So I'll freeze them like that, and then when we want them, we will just pull them out of the freezer and cook them from frozen, and they come out really nice and fresh. So I'm just going to take you over to my frying pan and show you where we are. There we go. And I'm just going to throw this into the pan and cook it. So it goes into a dry pan, and it doesn't take very long, a couple of minutes each side, and it will, you can see it coming up. Can you see it there? Cooking away. Yeah. And it'll just puff up a little bit. Try not to sort of move it around and turn it over when it's not quite ready. But you'll see it sort of start to puff up, and that's sort of an indication that it needs to be flipped over. So you want the pan as hot as you can get it. You think of a tandoor oven, it's always like piping hot. So you kind of want your pan smoking. You don't use any oil or anything. It just goes into a dry pan and cooks up really beautifully.
Oh, delicious. Nothing beats fresh naan bread out of the
It doesn't
pan.
matter. And once you've done it, you don't really, supermarket naan bread is not an option really after that, is it? It's too easy to make and tastes too good to not do it really.
Yeah, super delicious. While you're dry frying that off, we'll just whiz over to Diane's kitchen. She's going to put the components of her pilau rice together and show us where she's up to. Awesome job.
Sounds
Thanks.
No worries.
Right, yeah, so after I'd heat cooked those spices up again, I added the onion to it. So now I've just got this very aromatic smelling rice, onions and those spices in there. I need to take out the cinnamon stick. So I did read today that you can use a cinnamon stick again, so that's interesting. So all I have to do now, the recipe's just asking me to discard the cinnamon quill, and then this is the rice that I cooked, and so I'm just going to be tipping the onion and the spices into the rice. Sorry.
You're all good, Diane. We can see.
Yep, and I'll just hold it here so you can see, and that's just going to get stirred in there. And it's so simple, but gosh, it's got a really lovely flavour. And we had it with a curry the other night, and it just really lifted the curry as well. So it's really worth giving it a go. The curry leaves, you can buy them often dried in the Indian shops, or these are fresh ones that I just had in the freezer. So yeah, and I think like Lee was saying before about all the Indian cooking is marvellous. I think sometimes you've got to read some recipes, get a few of your spices and always have them on hand. And with a couple of my customers, we went halves in some of the spices. So from the Indian shop, we didn't buy big bags of Kashmiri chili powder and things. We bought just little quantities and shared them amongst ourselves. So they were fresher for longer. So we weren't having to have heaps of spices on hand. So I think that's quite a good tip if you've got a few of you that, together that want to make some Indian dishes.
How cool.
Yeah. And one other thing, Lee, just one question or thing with the tandoori paste that Joan made. It does have Kashmiri chili powder, and which has the colour of chili powder, but not the heat. So it's much better than putting ordinary chili powder in, because you'll probably find if you try that, it'll be way too hot.
Yes, absolutely. I popped that in the chat box when Joan was talking about it
Oh,
as well.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
I've had lots of customers who have accidentally put in chili powder and then messaged me saying, gee, it was spicy. So yeah, good tip.
Indian shop or something, and they're really helpful. They'll give you lots of tips on what to buy and how to use things. So yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, well done. Thank you. Great tips there. I hope everyone's feeling inspired to give the pilau rice a go, or some of the other recipes that you've been able to see tonight. We've got a couple of kitchens to whiz around, and then I've got some very exciting announcements to share with you as well. So stay tuned. We're just going to whiz on over. Rosemary, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing fine. What I've done is gone ahead and added the coconut milk, what was it? I've got it going to, just for time's sake. Added the coconut milk, the lime leaves, the fish sauce, palm sugar, and 3 teaspoons of the reserved garam masala. Now, when it asked for 3 teaspoons of palm sugar, and of course palm sugar comes quite solid like that. So I decided to put some in the mixing bowl and try and blitz it rather than try and grate it. And it worked, but man, it made a heck of a noise. It was really, really noisy. Also, what I've made is some coconut yogurt. And that's really good to make as well. And that's very cost rewarding. It doesn't cost you as much as that would do as a particular brand in the supermarket. And something else that I just wanted to share, I don't know whether some of you guys have bought the rose gold measuring spoons. They're lovely, nice, heavy, good quality, but if you put them in the dishwasher by mistake, you can get tarnishing on them. But a little bit of lemon juice with a bit of salt cleaned on can actually bring them back looking pretty good. So that's just what I've been doing, just sitting here waiting.
Wow, that is a good tip. Thank you. We've had a question here from Philippa. We're making garlic paste. Are we supposed to peel the garlic? Yes, you definitely don't want skins in your garlic paste. So we have the blade cover peeler, which is absolutely phenomenal for peeling garlic. Pop that in, pop all your whole bulbs, just kind of chop off the flat edge of your garlic bulbs. You can do quite a few at once and then just give them a quick peel that way. Fish all the skins out, and then you're just left with your beautiful garlic cloves. You can pop your garlic cloves into a jar of oil and pop it in the fridge, and that'll last for a couple of weeks for all your cooking, which is fabulous. So,
Or if you need
palm sugar as well is another question there, Rosemary. Any suggestions for that instead of palm
sorry,
sugar?
for what?
Instead of palm sugar, any suggestions?
I would just try brown sugar or raw sugar, I would imagine. The
Yeah,
palm sugar has got a funny sort of a texture to it. What was in the bowl wasn't all soft and grainy. It kind of almost had like a sticky candy on the inside of the bowl. This is my fish cooked now. Only it's not cooked.
one of the benefits of using palm sugar is a lower GI as well. So you're not going to get that insulin spike like you might with some of the more refined sugars. You could also use coconut sugar. That's
You
another
could do.
Yeah.
So the fish is cooked. There was too much for just the tray, so I put some in the bottom and some in the top. But this hasn't cooked, so I'll turn it over. But to look at the sauce, there's quite a lot. It comes up to probably more than 1.5, and it's actually quite the shade light's not very good. You see that? But
Yep.
Before I showed you the beautiful tomatoes that weren't cheap, I think next time I would just use tin. Seriously, I'd just use tin, and you probably get a little bit more of a thicker mixture than what this is. If I show you, it is really, it's quite liquidy. It's not, you see that?
Yep.
So that's really going to soak up in the rice. It's, it gets served with rice on the bottom of the bowl, the fish on the top, and the sauce over the top. So it's going to go down through the rice. But don't expect it to be thick, because it's not.
Yeah.
So I'll turn my fish over and do that
Yep.
for a little bit longer.
Yeah, awesome. Alrighty, I'm going to bring myself up. I mentioned I have got something exciting to share with you. Some of you may have already seen this if you have been on socials. Let's bring up, hopefully you can see me nice and big there. Has anyone seen these?
Yeah.
Does anyone know what it is? This is our new rose gold Varoma buntins. Pop in the chat box if you think you know what it's for. Comes in 2 sizes. So this is the smaller one of the two. This is the 1.2 litre. And then we also have a 2 litre capacity one that are coming out soon. Yeah, I've got cakes and rice. Yes, it is for cooking rice. So the really awesome thing is that these have been developed. So it sits in your Varoma. You pop your rice in there, and as your curry or recipe is cooking, you're using the steam to do your rice at the same time. How incredible is that? Previous to having these, you would often cook your rice ahead of time, pop it into your thermoserver to keep it nice and warm while your curry's cooking, or do your cauliflower rice, that has a shorter cook time, whereas now you can do like all your basmati rices and coconut rices and things at the same time. So keep an eye out for those. They are coming to the Mix shop in early May. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I think it's either the 6th or the 9th of May, but reach out to your consultant or keep an eye on the Mix shop for those. So yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I've had mine arrive last week. I haven't had a chance to try them yet, but I have seen other consultants using it. If you're doing recipes like the creamy coconut chicken curry, which is quite a Western curry. It's a really great one that we use at a lot of demos. There is a slightly longer cook time, so just take that into consideration because you soak your rice, pop it in, and then it has a little cook in the steam. So yeah, absolutely amazing. Can't wait for them to give it a go. I'm really looking forward to it. And yes, you could absolutely use it for cake as well. Why not? Pop your cake batter in there and then whack it into the oven. Multi-use. So it does have some instructions as to how to use them. But yeah, what do you think? Is that something that would excite you when it comes to saving even more time? And a steamed pudding. Yes, absolutely, Rebecca. Steamed pud would be delicious. Even things like your lemon cakes, all those things that you want to be steaming. Beautiful. You could do a banana cake for lunch boxes or morning teas. Yeah, beautiful. I will pop the link for the mix shop in the chat box as well. It surprises me how many people don't even know that we have the mix shop. So the mix shop is a place that has loads of amazing, great quality accessories. Some are specific to Thermomix, just like the buntons, the peelers, the cutters, all sorts of wonderful things that you can be using. And then other things to just make life easier in the kitchen, storage, lunch boxes for kids. Yeah, I'm sure if you haven't seen it yet, it's worth checking out. And anytime you do shop, please pop down your consultant's name because they will get a little commission come through on those sales. And we love seeing what you're buying, and we might be able to offer some inspiration for some of those things that you've purchased as well. So yeah, it's very cool. I'm as you can tell, I'm excited to try that. Another time saver. I love saving time in the kitchen. Alrighty, Joan's finishing up her chicken there. Diane's done her rice, and Marie, we'll whiz on back to you. Let's have a look, see how you're getting on with your chai masala tea. We're just about done.
So yes, it's all done. The temperature's dropped it rose to 98 degrees and now it's down to 80, which I probably think would be perfect for drinking anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour it into my glass here using a tea strainer. You need to use a tea strainer because of the finer sieve there. If you tried to use a normal strainer, it would definitely not work. The pieces would go through, but it looks pretty good. Oh, it smells so
look at
good.
that color.
Yeah, it smells so good. Yum. Yeah, so all done. And what I love about Thermomix as well is that it shows you the temperature as it drops. So when you're making your yogurt and things, you know exactly what temperature it is. So that's a really handy thing to have to know as well. Yeah.
Fabulous. And if it did get cold and you had leftovers, you could pop it in and use the kettle mode, or you could use your reheat mode, and that's another great way just to gently bring that milk back up to temperature. Love it. Top job. Thanks, Anne-Marie. That was awesome. Alrighty, I think we're just about done. Joan, we'll whiz over to your kitchen. Let's have a look at your chicken. How are you getting on there? Chicken skewers all done? Look, she's looking for that mute button again. Love it.
Good one. So I've just got some chutney. There's tamarind chutney and a plum chutney and the skewers. So
oh, delicious. They look great. Well done, Joan.
Yeah.
You could even do your tandoori mayo with them.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I only cooked 4 because I'll cook the others tomorrow.
They're delicious. They'd be nice in wraps for lunches too, wouldn't they? Oh, yum.
Yeah. Yeah, that's with the mayo.
Yeah.
The paste mayo. Put it in your wrap and your chicken.
Delish. Top job. Thank you. All right, Cynthia, back over to you.
Hi there. Sorry, I've just got my my dough kneading in the background. This is a dinner for my husband tonight. He's feeling like his throat's been cut. So we've got our naan, butter chicken and rice.
Yum. And look, made it faster than it would take to ring up the local takeaways and pick it up or have it delivered. Super fast, delicious, and you know exactly what's in it. So yeah, well done you. Awesome job. Thank you. We've done Diane. I think it's just Rosemary's finishing off her fish there. Thanks for joining us, everyone, tonight. It's been awesome to have you here. How are you getting on there, Rosemary? How's your fish curry?
Fine. Just putting. Just got some of the fish that is cooked. Oh, there you go.
Awesome. Top job. Yeah, nice few
There's a lot
sprigs
more.
of your team coriander, some beautiful fresh coriander on top, or some fresh
No,
herb.
I'm not, so it hasn't.
What? Who's team coriander? Hands up. Love coriander. It's genetic, isn't it? You either love it or you don't. Love it. I'm definitely team coriander over here. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been our pleasure zooming around all the kitchens. Can't wait to hear what you've been making. If you do, send your consultant a photo, send me an email. I'll share it with the team. We love seeing what you've been making. Hope this has been inspiring for you. You've seen a few ways to make